Cheers to everybody out there that partakes. Get my G-stream medicating done, because I'm probably going to be parked for a minute tonight. Let's make our way back to the command center. Disconnected first. Every time this track comes up, I end up skipping it. This is just so much better. So, who here has any familiarity with the original Robocraft, or like builder fighting games in general? Alright. Change out our background here. Hello, hello. Oh. So, I was looking around at what I wanted to play today and set up a community vote, and as I was setting it up, I was scrolling through the available Steam games and I noticed something got added to my library that I didn't purchase. It was a beta that I signed up for weeks ago and completely forgot about. But the Robocraft II playtest officially launched today, so I want to give this a try, and afterward we'll see what the community vote led up to. Because it's looking like right now we're a 50-50 split again between Sunless Sea and RebelGalaxy. Amazing. Hi, hello, good day. Good to see you, Koi. Let's see here. Let's find out if OBS will just automatically know what to do here. Just add this to the list of games that I play that start with the letter R. Okay. Ooh. That was a noise. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, we're gonna close that for a sec. I wasn't ready. Add existing. There should be one here already. No, there isn't. Cool, love it. Go back over here. Close that. Go back over here. Open this again. Volume mixer. Okay. Very loud. Hopefully that's not destroying everything right now, but I'm working with what I got, so bear with me. This is showing up as cave story. That's not right. Ooh, new rice. Jeez. Nope, this is not behaving. This is what I get for trying to go on a launch day with a new game. But actually, we'll do a window capture instead. Okay. There we go. Cool. Alright. The loading music is perfect for this. I just received multiple requests across different platforms to be able to allow access from web, so this is fun. Let me guess, this is going to display my info in a way I don't want it to. Pre-alpha, nearly 10 years later. Holy cow. Alright. We'll let this go. And let's kill the notes outside empty. Nearly 10 years after creating Robocraft, we now have the opportunity to pour everything we learned and experienced into this, Robocraft II. This is an extremely early version of Robocraft II with many missing parts. Really shouldn't be letting you play at this development, but FreeJam love to get feedback. Yeah, this is going to be a very broken game. Be aware that anything that you see in today's stream is probably not going to be the same as it is when it officially launches, but being one of the original players on the original Robocraft, it appears they gave me access to this, and I'm excited. One of the things they added to the game is now you can actually pilot a little robot that also drives the vehicle that you build and design. So let's see. Alright. Oh. The quick play doesn't go live just yet. Begins in 13 hours. We might not actually be able to fully test all this just yet, but let's see if it'll let me at least get into the design side of it. What do we got here? Huh. Okay. Of course. Oh, they actually are like slightly different hardware. Okay. Well, that'll be fun. Community Robocraft Factory. So these are some of the designs that other people have already made here in Robocraft 2. These are things that once you've designed it, you get to actually go take it out onto the battlefield. And what you design will affect the way that it performs in combat. So having something that is well armored makes sense. This is so cool. You would take other people's vehicles out for a test drive. And you'll note that there's both land and air vehicles. Some of them are hover vehicles. That one's really cool. And then you've also obviously got the ones that are memes. This is adorable. Love it. Okay. I guess let's see what it'll let me do in design. And we'll probably back out of this and switch over to Robocraft 1 for actual gameplay purposes, but... Default APC robot frame. Oh. What is with this control scheme? Hold up. Whoa! Oh, okay, now it makes more sense. It's WASD. So, how are... Okay. Looks like they'll be keeping the unlocking system from the first game, which that's awesome. Currently in block mode, okay. Access material mode, paint your blocks, and change the weight and structural integrity. Oh, okay. So instead of having like T1, T2, T3 block with the various armor types, they're now allowing you to just change the overall density of what's there. Access color mode, not everything can be painted, because active engine parts and whatnot usually remain monocolor. Config mode. Wire functional parts together, configure the stats. Oh, we're getting granular, huh? Precon mode. Allows you to copy, cut, and paste parts of your robots. Wonder what that means. And simulation mode. Bringing back the hints. Okay, cool. Well, let's test drive this and see how it runs. I'm curious about the physics engine, see if it flies the same way. When I originally started playing RoboCraft, they had a completely different physics engine. Let's see, I need to actually grab Chattery. Oh. Can we give her a hat? I would hope so. Alright, we've got Windows Defender throwing a fit. That's fun. Oh, this is neat. Press E to reassemble your Robocraft, press F to switch. Oh, okay. Interesting. Alright, it looks like we started off with a default of 12,000 robits. I'm not certain how much any given part costs yet. It's also interesting that it's showing me other people's starter APCs by OSAC. Okay, so we got basic action shooter control scheme WASD, shift controls. We got crouching. Do we have prone? We got jumps. Okay. No. I'm just kind of like rolling through. Whoop. Wrong one. Rolling through what options we got for... Did I just respawn? Ah, R for respawn. Got it. Okay. Looks like that's most of it there. Is there any kind of ammo or cooldown on this? Or do I just get to go full tilt at all times? So a noticeable slowdown while shooting. We got a target range out there. Let's check out the mech itself. Enter seat, press E. Oh, whoa. Hey, camera. Oh. I love that the mech is actually like looking around too. Little robot. Whoa. I just knocked my own wheel off. So collision damage now exists apparently. What happens if I completely flip my vehicle? Does repair not work? How much damage can I do to my own vehicle? What do we got here? Oh. Okay. That only fires 2 and I cannot fire less. Good to know. Is there a flip command still? Hold F to flip was the original? Doesn't seem to be working though. Okay. Well. It's an entertaining problem, but still a problem. Go back over here, reassemble, get in the seat, see what other problems we can cause. What's over here? Uh-oh. What's shooting me? What's shooting me? Oh, hey. I have flipped my vehicle. Alright, so part-specific damage is still important. Trying to take out the guns on these things is going to be a pain. Looks like overall damage resistance on this is a lot higher than it previously was. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I just lost a tire. Uh-oh. Note to self, one vehicle still cannot take on 3. Or at least not with this kind of engineering. For test purposes, I do appreciate that they threw in some simple AI. Because that's basically what they're going to be running for the starter AI in Arena mode. If it's anything like the original. Oh, that impact damage is something else. Can we flip this? I don't think we can. No. No, that's something I definitely wouldn't design on my own. Okay, so we get audio feedback for hitting the target on that. It's funny that they actually used the same tower design from the test area in the first one. You can hear the thing bouncing. Oh, this is an elevator. Well, I should actually try and fight one of those mechs without a mech and see how much damage I can do. Also, is there a max distance to this, or is it actually hitting out there? I'm getting hit notifications. Interesting. Okay. Got shields or gates over there. And just like a little test area, the same little targets for flying vehicles. How do I... What if I want moon gravity? Okay. Checking for fall damage. Fall damage exists. So they added physics with collision and falling, which this is interesting. That means that aircraft are going to be a lot more brittle than they were before. You can't just like drag your landing gear across the ground unless you put wheels on the bottom of your aircraft. Oh right, I was going to check and see if I could actually hurt anything out here. Or substantially at least. Can I control these? Aren't you a pain? Okay, so this appears to be a grenade type. If it's anything like the original. And how much damage can I do? Wait, can I get in these? Oh. Guess not. That shot me. Interesting. Okay. Well, I suppose let's take a look at the factory itself. We'll go to build mode and see what I can make. What are the limitations this game is going to place on... Ooh. Joints that move and rotate... Hold on. That move and rotate based wired input signals. Connect 2 blocks together. Cosmetic CPU add extra flare. Sensors to detect nearby blocks and environments. Math chips. What have they done to this game? There's so much... I know that they were working on a expanded building simulation game at one point. I didn't realize that that was part of what was being put into this. that was like the initial physics engine for it. Logic gates. State blocks that used to add extra functionality and complexity to your Robocraft. So I'm assuming that I could then make things that split or can take off. If and or. I remember at one point I came across somebody that was piloting a mech. It was a bipedal mech that had guns on its arms. If you took out the front of the mech, the legs would just fall off, and it would switch to being a helicopter that had a completely separate weapon that was nested underneath the front chest cavity of the original mech. And it would then be a completely different mobility type. The person had designed it with that intent and would know how to respond immediately. Usually it was enough of a surprise that it would throw off other players, and they would be able to just get them from above, because it's a completely different type of combat, fighting a bipedal mech versus fighting a flyer unit. At least in the first one. I'm kind of curious if that's going to be one of the things that could be done in this, especially using things like the logic gates. We got triggered and rearmed explosives, so you could set down mines in game. A tank cannon, a laser autocannon, aiming hinge servo. By connecting the pilot seat to its input port. Axle servo. There is a lot more to this than I was ready for. Holy cow. Anti-grav capsule. So those are the helium blocks. I remember people making little satellites that would fly up to the top of the map and snipe things from down below. Standard thrusters, pilot seat. That's interesting. The pilot seat's actually necessary now, instead of just being a cosmetic thing. Steering wheels. Okay. So wait, let's go back to that real quick. We've got thrusters, anti-grav, limited vertical speed and causes angular dampening, opposes gravity. I'm wondering if that's helium or if that's the hover block then, because those are separate things. But I'm noticing there's no propellers, there's no skis. Recons. So I'm assuming like pre-constructed fabrications you define yourself. Shapes. This is where I would spend a lot of time creating like aesthetically pleasing blocky things. Oh, they've made it so much more granular. I'm going to have to get creative about this, but it also means that I'm going to have to spend a lot of time off stream doing design work to make something that's interesting, because I can spend hours just going back and forth looking at the same shapes. They got me. They caught me. They've captured my attention. If input A and input B are both 1, then the output will be 1. Oh, jeez. A decoupler. Okay, power joint that can separate two groups of blocks by connecting to a control point. Interesting. A spring with a dampener. A dampened axle spring. Hinge spring, pistons, servos. A joint that spins connected parts when powered. What would you... Wait. Well, you couldn't create angular momentum, could you? Would you make a prop? Is that possible? I guess decoratively you could at least make a prop and then just make a flying vehicle. Interesting. It wouldn't behave the same though, especially not in relation to like how there's a difference in the physics between them in RoboCraft 1. Math blocks. Like, what do these benefit the user? What is the actual use case behind output is the minimum value of input A and B? If input A and input B are the same, then output will be 1. Like, okay, so if you're currently receiving power from 2 tires in one spot, or one gets knocked out, then it'll turn on a separate steering system? What would you do with this? I'm not great with logic gates and programming, but, like, I have a rudimentary understanding, and I don't know. Allows you to set a value that can be used throughout your logic. Like, what if Minecraft, but a robot that you take into combat? Senses things entering its defined area and triggers depending on its modes. Distance sensor returns between 0 to 1 based on the max distance. Reactive armor. I've already figured out a thing that you could do with this then. You could create those if, then, and, or responses. If something comes within X distance, your armor could decouple, thereby stopping a rocket from taking out the rest of the hull. Destruction sensor tracks a group's level of destruction and returns 1 when a target percent is reached. So you set groupings of the blocks then? Headlamp indicator, a small cone-shaped headlamp strip. And then the various mobilities and weapons. I suppose to start, we're going to take a look at the vehicle that's already in place here and see what I can do. Jack this up into the air. Whoa. Wait, what is X? Right-click in cursor mode. Use the right mouse button to move the camera in cursor mode. Oh, okay. And it scrolls. Good. It's a little funky. So we want mirroring. That is what that is, right? I hope. R is, I'm assuming, undo? Or rotate. Rotate part, most likely. What is... Could I please get some tooltips, game? What if I just stop moving for a sec? Will you tell me then? Scaling shapes. Okay. Shapes can be scaled by clicking the left mouse button 3 times, moving the mouse. The hell? We'll start with a block. Oh. I see. Okay. Well, I don't know what that does. Saving. Oh, control is down. What's up? Space is up. I hate this control scheme. Alright, how do I delete parts? I don't want that. Delete. Backspace. Right click. Okay. I'm still trying to use the VR chat camera controls, unfortunately, here. So, first thing... figure. Oh, wow. How far does this go? Access tweakable stats. You can access a block's tweakable stats by clicking on the cog symbol. Wait. I have to get close to it. Okay. Wait, what? So I can increase how far this will steer. I can...
Oh. Okay. E. Have to close the widgets. Oh, I see. Is this the wiring? Oh my. I'm still fighting these controls a little bit, my apologies. See, right mouse button, left mouse button. What is all this? Jump effects break. Steering is affected by forward, backward, left, right, or no, acceleration. That is wild that this has to be wired in that manner. Left mouse button and right mouse button are mounted to the guns. Aim point is also mounted. How far does the wiring go then? Oh, this is strange. I also keep expecting to be able to use Unity keyboard commands on this. I'm like trying to use middle mouse. I'm trying to use Vroid model movement, and just I've piloted too many different 3D construction simulators recently, and my brain is scrambled. Oh, what a strange game. I suppose. Let's see. So half height can be a thing. Also, why is this not allowed to go further out this way? Okay. Wait. What's the issue here? X30, cosmetic CPU, weapon CPU, base CPU. Am I using up something here? Am I unable to add? No, it's the fact that it's running into it. Okay. Got it. Understood. So yeah, we're gonna add more to this shell of this thing, I suppose. Okay. I see that they added some lower scoop effect here. RR. So rotate still works the same way. Oh. Let's remove that. Ordinary block. No. I had to do it from over here. That's max distance. Why is it doing it like that? No. These camera controls are going to drive me insane. Okay, so that's what I actually wanted from that. And rotate again. Oh, that's definitely not what I want. There must be... We've got weird block palette stuff going on. Alright, so we're just going to have to manually go back. Shapes, grab... Tetrahedron, I think? Maybe? Alright, that at least gives us a chevron. No, no, no wiring, no wiring, no wiring. No. No. What have I done? Intern, what have I done? Alright, also, is mirror mode not on? Wait, why is this behaving this way? Okay, so that's definitely not what I want. Is there... No. M does what? That's materials. E is wiring, P is prefab. Okay. As much as I really like the idea of checking this out live on stream, I'm going to drive myself insane trying to do so live. So we're going to try pivoting over, and we're going to do RoboCraft 1 for a little bit. After that, we'll probably follow it up with some storytime stuff, but bear with me. I'm going to switch to break while I get everything wired up, and we will be right back.
Okay, that was an interesting little adventure. Fun little interlude. But let's try a little something else. That was a mess. First things first, I'm going to have to see if I can actually get this to run for me in a windowed mode so I can see chat, because it appears Chatterino does not win the battle here on who gets to sit in front. Also, I hope you enjoy my Doomba. It is one of the silliest designs. Where is settings here? Hello? Cancel. Okay. That gives us back our chat. We will also generally just turn down everything, because this game loud AF. So I can go back to the rest of my audio settings and turn this back up in Windows. Okay. So, welcome to RoboCraft 1. This is the game that inspired the one that we were just trying out. Obviously a playtest in progress, so a few things needing to be ironed out before I can really play a whole lot there. I'm noticing... Yeah, this is having to reload my different designs one by one here as I pull them up, because I haven't played them in probably close to about 2 years now. You'll note that I was cosmetically using the pilot seat that does nothing in this game, just because I liked having it there. This is actually one of my better performing vehicles that I've designed out there, a hover unit that has melee squishing ability. I'm able to drop this down onto my opponents when they get too close. It's got armor all over to protect the guns up top. Fun little vehicle. This is one that I designed... Oh, what is going on here? That's not right. Looks like one of my vehicles is gone, and I was in the process of building something else. That's unfortunate. So I used to have the XB-26 Strike Bomber was the one that I titled it, and it was originally a spy plane that had grenades or bombs, whatever the verbiage was in this version of the game. It was designed for just doing strafing runs and then taking off. It was not designed for taking on like individual combat, but part of what I enjoy in the mechanics of this game that I'm not seeing yet in the other one, I'm not sure if they just don't have it figured out yet or if it's not going to be a part of the baseline, is the regeneration. In this game, if you stop getting hit for a minute, your vehicle will start to repair itself, and you'll grow back limbs, you'll grow back your weapons, whatever else. And so that bomber plane was designed to be able to take a couple hits on the way out and just kind of hide behind a hill for a minute and then take off and then continue doing the same thing. Just hit and run tactics. Let's see here, base 7 appears to be empty, so we could do some silly designs there. A tactivist. Oh! I was having fun messing with creating... Well, first of all, the fact that this one's a pride flag, I really greatly enjoy. I was trying to create the different tiers. You'll see on the bottom here is tier 2, tier 3, tier 2, tier 1, tier 5, tier 4. I was in the process of trying to have each tier covered by at least one vehicle type. In some cases, I would actually do like airborne and ground, but I didn't have enough time to keep doing that constantly. Stop playing the game after a while. What's funny about this is, although this looks like a car, it can fly. The wings on this completely defy physics, and this thing can take off. It's really, really silly. This is Gabrantha Housefly, a design that I created and actually sold on the marketplace for a while. This one has netted me a lot of money over time because it's a very well armored and designed attack chopper. It's very, very well defended for other vehicles of its size. And you'll note that most of these I'm using the full 2000 CPU size bays as well as the agenda. This one's another Doomba type. You'll note that I'm very heavily inspired by, BattleBots. And Radpole. Radpole was fun. Just a basic walker type. Okay, so let's switch over to play mode here. And we're gonna jump into a custom game. No, we'll do a quick play. No, I don't want to do map conditions. No auto heal. Okay, so this is gonna have to really focus on the fact that this vehicle is made for healing others. So let's see what we can get into. Emotograms. Gotta love a good waiting lobby. And it's been a minute since I've sat here in this game. Also, with RoboCraft II launching, I'm not sure just how many people are going to be trying to play this one. We'll see. There's probably going to be a lot of players out there, actually, that did exactly what I did and went, no, not right now. And come back. Alright, now we're in the real queue. Interesting. I was hoping that this would actually be a bit more functional than this. This is unfortunate. Well, if this doesn't work in the next couple of minutes, I guess we will have to pivot once more, and we'll switch over to something else. All right. And these all look like bots. It's interesting how long it takes for it to set up a bot game, but here we go. Genova Witness. That one might actually be real. Let's see. Are any of these... Oh, wow. Since when am I this fast? Also, how? How are you even... Yeah? Yeah? You were the worst wingman. I should run out here. Paladin mode. Nope. All right. That poor snowman. I got you, bud. You're not going down yet. Come on. You got this. No. How did I get placed on such a team? Oh no! It is just me! It's me versus an entire fleet of bots. I have no healing. Oh, there goes, yep. Alright. Oh, I have a hover unit! I forgot I had a hover unit. Enemy is draining your base's energy. I can't control this. This vehicle is no longer controllable. It's over. I can't. I'm so... I can't believe I hit that. Wait, there's one of you on the other team too? At the very least, it would be... Really? Oh no. Oh wow, you're a plane. What a game. What a strange game. Some of the designs you run across in this. Alright, I have to acknowledge this person did pretty well. Person bot, whatever the case may be. Person bot. What was all that? Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh, I hate this. Alright, well let's switch to one of the vehicles I actually do know I can play with. And we will do a match. Battlefield will change in 20 seconds. We'll do one more match. I still don't feel like I'm going to win this because although I'm moving up to a tier 4 vehicle, that means that every other vehicle I'm going to be fighting is either going to be tier 3, 4, or 5. So they're going to be just as overpowered. It's going to be more of a matter of tactics at that point, and I sincerely hope... Battle ended. The battlefield just changed. Okay. Auto heal is now on. Well, this is going to be a very different type of gameplay. Some of the team deathmatch and capture the flag options they put into this are pretty fun. I will say that this game has changed so much since it originally came out, and the physics have changed so much that, like, some of the vehicles I designed, they just don't work anymore. Some of the aircraft I used to have were built on a flight system that no longer exists in this game. Now you can slap a bunch of wings into a box and drive the box through the sky with the wings all facing inward and no thrusters. That wasn't how the game used to play, though, so it's interesting to see how that changed. I mean, we just basically got attacked by a flying lawnmower in that last match. Yeah, not too keen on you making comments like that, Tristan.
This is team deathmatch. Kill the
Alright.
enemy to win.
There's one of those Doombas.
Target
with a bunch of shields on top. It's a smart design. I hear them. All right. Next. I love this bot. Oh, hey. Alright. Time to sit back for a second and regenerate. Let my shields do their work. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what problems we can go cause. I'm fighting a table. A table of regeneration. Okay, next. I hear you. Where are you? Hello? Hello? We have a problem here. Okay, took some damage there. Thank you, Winter. That's a sniper. They are built to tear me up. I don't have a whole lot of control of my vehicle right now. I am in pieces. If I can just stay back for a sec, it'll come back though. There we go. Next. You. Okay, we... Let's flip this real quick. Got a new enemy over here. Whole battle going on over here. Plane covered in laser blades. What a silly build. Not that my design's all that much better. Alright. So that vehicle is essentially the same thing as mine, just upside down and flying. Cut a hole right through this thing. Alright, stealthy guy from Twitch. Aww. Sorry, stealthy guy from Twitch.
I hope your stream's going well. This thing is covered in shotguns, and they are very, very, very high damage. Ho! 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 Oh, we're about to get the actual win. I'm out of energy. Stay back, stay back, stay back. Recharge, fire! Alright, somebody got the kill. There's only half of my tank left. Aw. 5 deaths to stealthy guy. I'm gonna vote for myself. Because I love myself. Alright, not bad, not bad. I want to know about this thing where it puts me underneath the bay. Oh, I got a team deathmatch victory. Cool. Move your legs. I'm supposed to win matches with a bipedal mech. Or at least leg mech. Tech points! So this is an interesting part of the build system that they put into this version of the game that I really like. You start out with only having like a couple things from the T1 cubes unlocked, and as you get tech points, you can spend them on being able to unlock other specialized parts that go further and further out. You'll see that there's some strange gaps in the middle here where they've actually added new content in the middle of me already having progression to some of the endgame stuff. So it's a little broken in some spots, and I'm still filling out most of this. Pretty close to getting all of it done. Like, I still need to get those tier 5 wheels and whatnot. Not sure that I care too much about having the ion cannons or plasma or anything because I mainly stick with the auto aim. These little auto cannons, being able to aim themselves, make things a lot easier on me. Let's see here. Let's try and run with Gabrants. I've been muted. I'm kind of surprised to see that there's actually any other players out there at all. I'm fairly certain that that stealthy guy from Twitch was actually another player. I feel bad that they had that many losses. It's interesting though to see that there are still other players. That it isn't just all bots, and that is part of why it is taking as long as it is to load these matches. You would think that the matchmaking would be a little bit better, but it probably doesn't know what to do with my old win ratio versus like how badly I'm performing right now. I'm in a very different league, far below where I was playing when I quit this game.
Alright, after this one, I probably will switch over to something else. Okay, here we go. What do we got? Mega Pepperoni. We have Camo Watcher X and Camo Watcher X2. Somehow I don't think that's a real player. What do you think? Oh, whoa, what is this? What is this? Hold up. Alright, I'm glad I'm set up for healing this fellow. What a strange vehicle. Yeah, the fact that the AI is not addressing me whatsoever, a real player would immediately go after the healer in this case. Oh, hello. Decided to pay attention, huh? Come on, Pepperoni, don't go down. Aww. Alright, well. Good thing that other vehicle is made of lasers. Well, laser blades, so can't do a whole lot to me. Okay. Well, time to move. Hello? Pepperoni. Why? Okay. See about healing that fellow. Oh, whoever's healing me, thank you. I think it might just be myself, though. Do. Oh, jeez. Pepperoni. You were taking some damage, buddy. It's a bad scorpion. It is a very bad scorpion. The worst scorpion. Could you stop attacking the lawnmower that is tearing your legs off? Please! It is very hard to heal you when you do this. No! Stop! Ugh. Yeah, what's up, Tiva? You may have started with a full clip, but I have the advantage of location. And a much better designed aircraft. Well, time to go up. Just regenerate away from everybody else's lasers. Oh. Hello. I have been targeted. I am a little large. This isn't looking too good. I think I gotta go over here. Hang out over here for a sec. Hey, Tiva. Alright. You are a problem. Forget you! We win anyways. Wow, I was definitely about to die. Not a bad play. I have the high ground! Okay, I gotta say, Omega Pepperoni, you got MVP for just non-stop combat. Landlock, I never had to defend you, so good job. It's a strange little game. And for anybody that is into Legos or into any kind of like PvP game, this is a fun one that gives you some control over having design over how you're going to play the game. Like, you can see that I've got a few different options for like remaining aloof or getting right into things' faces with more heavily armored vehicles. It's interesting. I do recommend this one after having played it for so many years. But for now, we're going to drop out of here. As fun as it was. Absolute chaos. And... Actually, let's switch that on for just a sec while I get things switched over here. Thank you. Yeah, I should stretch. Okay. That was a mess. Now let's see where the community votes landed on tonight's game for the actual votes. We got a few options here. It looks like Sunless Sea and Rebel Galaxy are still on a tie, but we have some other votes on some of the other options out there. Haglin and Jupiterhell, huh? Been a minute on that one. Yeah, let's go ahead and do a quick game of Jupiterhell. I haven't done a run in that in a minute. We'll tell OBS what's up here. The one from last night was Out There Omega Edition, and it is not just available on desktop. You can also pick that one on mobile, so I would recommend checking it out if you've got a tablet or something. It's a good one just to like, kind of like, I don't know. For a minute I was actually playing that one like before I went to bed each night, just because it was a little bit of existential horror and something to think about. Change our tags here. Yeah. Okay, updated the stream info here. Hey, Jupiterhell, are you actually going to launch, or are you just going to sit here? Apparently we're just going to sit here. Run that on Vulcan. And time for some musical whiplash. And generally, thematic whiplash. We actually get to see the intro.
Have you lost your goddamn minds? You idiots are gonna pay for shooting up my... What the hell? Ugly motherfucker.
Now, Colt, was it you that were talking about 2001: A Space Odyssey was also an engineer traveling from Earth to Jupiter? To investigate a monolith. Yeah, Dead Space totally didn't rip that off or anything. All right. Load game. Did I have a previous run? From an older version. Oh, delete that. I don't want that anymore. Yeah, get rid of those. Oh yeah, Dead Space. Do we have the fake CRT lines going on? I forgot about that. Challenge mode. Trials? What are the trials? Ooh. No branches, no terminal exits, no special levels, just you in a straight path to victory. Only plot messages, uniques and exotics have a higher chance to spawn randomly. Beyond is the end episode instead of Dante. What? Reach Io in the Purity Trial. Let's do it. On hard. With a random.
I don't like the looks of this.
Come back in from a routine patrol at the Callisto orbit. Your landing craft gets shot down by the automated defense systems. Something's wrong. Okay, time to remember how to play this.
No ammo. Reload. No ammo. Reload.
Okay. That did not go as well as it could have. Got that one. Don't want to walk down here per se, because I'm going to get taken out by an explosive.
There's nothing here. That takes care of this area.
Well, I nearly died right at the intro there. Jeez. Alright, what did we get? Gunslinger. Army of Darkness. Is that the shotgun specialist? Optimal range +2. Optimal range equals max. Vampire. Survivor. Pistol revolver. Extra shot for autos. Pistol revolver. Reload. You can also reload for less ammo. Onslaught. Everyone's dead or you run out of ammo. Okay, we're gonna do Army of Darkness. Furious Reloader. And hope that we actually survive. Because this is not a great start.
There's nothing here.
But they're Marines, so we do have the perk of gaining healing. And, you know, we've been having this problem where every time something gets too close, we get shredded. We're going to try and resolve that by actually grabbing the combat knife this time. Not bad. We got some 7.62 ammo. We'll drop the combat knife for now while there's still spare revolver ammo. Just because these things have such a high hit rate. Am I going nuts, or did they change the stats on these, or am I just having really bad luck on my shots? Because I'm taking these attempts at making shots that normally
No ammo.
it's more like that. Okay. Found more healing. That's a grenadier. Glad I got him. Temporarily swap the shotgun. Grab some armor and see if we can take out both of these in one shot. Hell yes. Okay, what am I equipped with? Revolver. And auto rifle.
There's nothing here.
Yeah, take them out.
There's nothing here.
Cool. Alright. Grab that chest and we'll get out of here.
There's nothing here.
Well, Space Marines what? Training involves marathon sprinting. I'm also like power tapping the directions, so it's not like I'm actually going any faster than the other characters. I'm technically just walking. Okay, we got a really fancy box up there, which is cool. It's a grenadier, which I'm questioning if I can actually do enough damage. All right. Army of Darkness needs Furious. Furious is Fury capacity plus 2 adrenaline damage bonus. Okay. Okay.
What do we have here?
AV1, Advanced Furious General Properties Vary. Okay. 1 extra Fury generated per kill. Alright, not bad.
No ammo. Reload.
Okay. Enemy AI has changed, and they'll no longer just run up to wherever they last saw you. Not even a year's passed, but I hate this place more every day. 4 years of exemplary service, DF service, and one stupid bar fight later I'm stuck in this stupid place. How the hell was I supposed to know he was secret police? I forgot how verbose some of these folks are in the emails here. Bloody hell. Hell, what is it you think you're eating? They say after a time you get used to the smell, the constant humming of the generators, the eerie silence, and that constant feeling of powerlessness. Bull. 2 years down, 13 more years to go. I'll doubt I'll be able to pick up normal life afterwards. Losing my sanity. Yeah. Okay. I hate that worked. I've never tried something like that.
Damn it.
Exalted soldier. You're gonna be a problem, aren't you?
No room.
Bulk mod pack. I don't actually want to use this on anything, so we're gonna drop some stuff. Also, I had no idea I was carrying that many medkits. Oh, fun. Okay.
Finally. No ammo. Reload.
Yeah. Oof. Okay. I'm kind of curious. Trials, purity, hard, random.
What a wonderful smell I've discovered.
Okay. We've got another Marine. Another Sergeant. Ow.
There's nothing here. There's nothing here.
Smoke grenade. That'll come in handy. That's it for this map. Moving on.
Gotta hurry. Security should be here soon.
Lockdown in progress. Armor. AV1 with auto repair. Repairs itself up to 30%. Sniper rifle. Well, hunting rifle, but better than nothing. The hell just happened?
No ammo. Reload.
Ooh. Bad.
Not dead yet.
Ow!
No ammo. Reload. No ammo. Reload.
Like, I didn't have a better option than that. Yikes.
Where the hell is everyone?
I realized there was somebody named Empty Mind, so I needed to change that. I was just going to say no thoughts outside empty as an empty mind, but, yeah. 9mm pistol. I'm on another Marine! Okay then. I guess the game wants me to play a Marine tonight.
No ammo. Reload.
To do a Jersey reload run. I didn't even see that door.
I think that's all of them.
Okay. Reloader again.
There's nothing here.
Actually. Security runs meaning no branches makes this for a little bit faster. Think Duke Nukem if he wasn't a parody. So, fun fact, this is actually the voice of Commander Shepard from Mass Effect. Same voice actor. They actually, like, sprung to specifically get this guy for this role. There's a lot of explosives around that healing. This is a Barrels of Fun map. Like, it didn't say it, but I don't think they're allowed to. Okay, there's the exit. Ah, the explosion, because that one was a fanatic. Dang it. Okay. I'm not doing great. Let's try a normal, regular game, but hard as usual. Hard as usual.
Damn. This looks like trouble.
Another Marine. Kind of questioning if something.
Ammo. Reload.
Something broke?
No ammo. Reload.
Love holster reloads.
See you in hell, bastards.
I kick the box.
Gotta hurry.
I kick the box and I
Security should
leave.
be here soon.
Alright. They've created impassable wall deco. Interesting. Oh, right, I'm on a regular run now. I got really confused. That's a lot of drones. Okay, so we got actual, like, alternative options on places to end up here. I finished the script. Should turn Valhalla Terminal 2 into living hell. And most importantly, buy us enough time to get to the dropship. Those security bots will go totally nuts. All you need to do is go to the common space in Valhalla Terminal 1 and push those changes. Once that's done, meet me at my cell. Sergeant, I expect you to transfer all that scum out of Callisto Mines L2 by the end of your shift. The strong room there will soon be holding super important equipment, and I want none of that garbage loitering around. Hey Chief, it's been a couple days already. Jake went down the elevator to the vault in Callisto L6 during our shift to get some equipment. Next thing I saw was a couple military guys throwing me away. Today I had a shift there again and the vault's locked. Can you please tell me what happened to Jake? He's my mate. Is he coming back? Hey, could someone please activate the elevator to Callisto Rift? The system keeps rebooting and taking the elevator offline. Use the terminal on Callisto Hub. Xavier, that fool we popped yesterday had AV2 basic armor on him. Heard her sniffing around last week, so I can't keep it anywhere here. That's asking for trouble. I left it at my station in Callisto L6 if you want to take it. Okay. There's a vault in Callisto L6 as well, so I guess we're going to L6. It's a long way. Oh, hi. What? Where's the one that it's aiming at? Right there. Okay.
No ammo. Reload.
Okay. All right. A lot of goodies out here. There's still more than 3 enemies active, so they're not showing up on radar just yet. Now they are. Okay.
I think that's all of them.
All right. Okay. So we're just heading to L6. We're not even bothering with these other locations. Very nice. Bad.
Not dead yet.
Whew! Didn't expect to actually be able to run away from that. That got crunchy for a sec. Nice. I just heard an enemy change weapons. It's an interesting thing to hear. Got 9mm EMP. This will be handy later. If I survive long enough. Ugh. Watcher gaze. I see. So that's what the Watcher's for. New enemy type. They can actually utilize each other's sight radius. Which is a very Doom thing. That's a lot of barrels.
Finally. No ammo. Reload.
Sorry. Are you kidding me? I don't... Yeah. Knock that out for a sec. This person snuck around the corner and shot me. And the time that it took for me to reload that. Dang it. Fishy Jim. I forgot one of my winners was Fishy Jim. Okay. We're at the 2-hour mark. I know that we've been switching games a lot throughout the evening. I'm going to take my usual short break here, and we're probably going to switch over to RebelGalaxy just to tie out the night and do something with a little bit of normalcy. We will be right back. See you shortly. Right, got things changed over there.
What else out there? Some water. Also do some stretching. Take a quick walk around. But I'm gonna launch this here. Oh, alright Steam. I guess we're gonna do a quick reboot of Steam first. Having some camera weirdness. Let me switch that up too. There we go. Hey, Steam? Steam, are you coming back? Hello? Uh-oh. Some Murphy's Law kind of night going on here. Ah, there's Steam. I only had to open Task Manager to threaten it. Oh, Armored Core 6. You have my heart and my attention. Armored Core 6, I'm looking forward to you. Alright. Looks like this is coming up just fine. Theoretically, at least. Well, I got one more silver dollar. Let's see. Interesting. Okay. Let's see, which save am I on here? That Barracuda, though. Oh. Don't capture my cursor while I'm trying to move the screen. Oh, please.
We're gone now, yes.
Skiza, we just got here. Come on.
Engines at maximum.
What were we doing? Primary mission, Aftermath. Mission, rescue Silas. Mission, assault on the militia. Oh, right! I was about to get into a fight with the militia when we stopped. Because I got pretty upset at this lady who was telling me to work for them. Okay. Clear.
Accelerating to sublight.
Blockade run for munitions. Wonder if I'll find some munitions during this upcoming problem I'm about to start. That's gonna be funny.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
So last we left off, we had just helped out Trell in finding part of her memories. She said there might be more in the system. And then we got stuck helping this random general in the military who says she can help us find our aunt, but I've got my doubts.
Glad you made it back in one piece. Lucky for Juno, it looks like our little plan is going to work. The Doublejack are scrambling, and that's exposing high-value targets. We've got intel on a series of flight groups all moving fast, and so much fighter cover, we know they're worth the hit.
So how do we know which ones to take on?
We take them as they come until we find what we need, and split up to improve our chances. These flight groups are in motion, so after you've intercepted one, if you're still empty-handed, I'll feed you updated coordinates for another group.
You're just expecting me to do your dirty work for you.
If you can get one of their captains to surrender, that's great. But an escape pod works just as well. We need a warm body for interrogation. You bring them back alive, and we'll take care of the rest.
Alright.
Good luck. After all this is said and done, maybe you should consider a career in the militia. We're always on the lookout for someone solid. Fly safe.
I would never work with you.
Good day, mate. How about a beer?
What about some bounties?
I got a few tips on local bounties, but that's something you have to pay for.
Not a problem.
All right, here's the coordinates. I'll mark them on your chart.
Thank you, dear.
Good day, mate.
Have a good one. Okay, so I needed munitions for that other mission. Let's sell that. Gold ingots are at an all-time low. Meteoric diamonds are at a weird price. What's up, Fantasy Faye? Good to see you. Pure water. Oh, real whiskey. Wait, why is that considered so... Wow, that sells for a lot here. Interesting. Alright, but they don't have any of the things that I actually needed here, per se. It's a dry county.
Stellar map.
Okay, well, could we not? Okay, we got that over there. This rescue mission. Oh, a pirate lord. Now this is going to be a funny little fight. We're going to have the militia out here. We're going to have the Doublejack traders out there. We're going to have this blockade run going on.
Accelerating to sublight. Engines at maximum. Bounty detected.
Cargo,
Accelerating to
munitions, and
sublight.
ceramic plating. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec.
Exiting sublight.
Hold on a sec.
Collision warning.
Yeah, what? Hold up. Did somebody crash into the side of this planet? That's what that looks like. What a silly little mess. Oh, this custom waypoint's moving.
Warp inhibited by hostile craft. Incoming hail. Hailing.
Well, well, look what we have here. Juicy pickings. Sure, there's no talking out of this one, mate.
I mean, you could just not, but... Alright.
Collision warning. Collision warning.
Mm-hmm.
They will taste the blood.
Wow, this person's got some good armor on their ship.
Bounty received.
This is not.
What is that?
Accelerating to sublight.
That's a military destroyer. Okay.
Exiting sublight.
Mark II mining laser. Not bad.
Stellar map.
Let's land over here and see if we can pick up those munitions that we needed.
Warp inhibited by stellar
Hmm.
mass.
Yeah, don't want that. Need this.
Docking.
They're not going to have anything that I want besides commodities. Drop these. Don't want. Good value on those. And it's amazing that's considered low value right now. Same with these. Bizarre. Nah. Nah. And nothing regarding... Yeah, okay. Well, unfortunate. We'll check the mission board and make our way further out. Don't want any of those missions.
Stellar map.
Rust City. I do like Rust City.
Engines at maximum. Sublight boosters depleted. Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Collision warning.
Okay. Commodities, please. Please. Good value on the gold. Really good value on the tachyon salt. Dang. Okay. Not gonna fight that. No.
Stellar map. Accelerating to sublight. Engines at maximum.
Soon. Soon we shall make it there. Just have to stop at every station along the way and hope that we actually get the thing we needed for the other mission.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Docking.
There we go. That's a real value on the grill whiskey. Munitions. They're at a high, but I need them, so we'll take them. Same goes for the tachyon salt. Excellent price right now. Alright. Predator swarm. Yeah, no, I'm good on that one.
Collision warning. Accelerating to sublight.
Target destroyed.
What? There's... Huh?
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
What was out here?
Take care now.
Alright. Thanks. Am I being protected? Because you folks seem to be following me at this point. I'm not liking that either. Alright, Silas.
Inhibited by stellar mass. Collision warning.
Detected valuables. What do we got over here?
Engaging.
Cargo container.
Exiting.
Ceramic plating.
As you can see, I'm in a bit of trouble. Sure could use your help.
You sure could. I'll be there in just a sec.
Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight. Mission complete.
Mm-hmm.
Hailing.
What can I help you with? Yeah, we can do business. What'd you have in mind? Pleasure? Yeah, here's what I know. Yeah, we can do business. What'd you
okay.
have in mind? Safe travel.
That went well.
Ah, good to see your friendly face.
So that actually felt genuine compared to some of the lines I've heard recently in this. Anything else out here? In stock. Out of stock on munitions. In stock. Munitions. Well, we'll stop there and see if we can get everything that we need.
Exiting sublight.
Whoa!
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Did not realize we were quite that wonky on our steering. Hello?
Accelerating to sublight.
Hello? What is F3 and F4 doing to my view? Because it goes wonky every time I hit those. I'm trying to see if there's any way for me to do like in-cockpit view. I don't know, I really like that about Everspace. The feeling that I'm actually there.
Warp inhibited by hostile craft.
Saw somebody playing some Skyrim VR today. It was the first time I've actually like seen it from that first-person perspective that wasn't part of just a video.
Missiles inbound.
And it looks so fun.
Accelerating to sublight. Stellar map. Stalking.
There we go. How many do I need for what I'm doing? I guess is another good question. Don't need the meat. Don't need the ceramic plating. Current mission log. Blockade run. Munitions. They need 8. Commodities market. Go back down to munitions. There. Okay.
Stellar map.
Prime wave.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Whew. Looking forward to the next part of the actual story here that isn't just going to be do what the military tells you.
That ship will make a fine prize.
You could say that, but I ain't stopping. Gotta catch me first, and like they say, I'm the fastest ship. I only just now noticed that one turret on the front of the ship. Oh, we are here.
Warp inhibited by hostile craft. Missiles inbound.
Light them up.
Exiting sublight.
This is getting too hot for me. Damn!
Scanner. Scanning.
It won't let me actually talk to them.
Son of
Interesting.
Collision warning. Accelerating to sublight.
This one is mine.
Collision warning. Collision warning.
Looks like that's it for the Battle of Salsa Station.
Stalking.
Refill my weapons. No, no. Wait. Maybe. Okay. Wow. That real whiskey is worth a lot right now. Dang. Okay.
Engines at maximum.
Well, we got cargo out here.
Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight.
Okay. Wait, what's that? Oh, detected friendly. Oh, this is gonna be a mess. I'm gonna love it.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Collision warning. Accelerating to sublight.
Okay, we got our first one here. The assault on the militia.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
How are you folks doing?
Collision warning. Exiting sublight. Accelerating to sublight.
It's a lot more militia than I was expecting. Am I supposed to just start shooting? Is that it? Well, it's out of range anyways.
Accelerating to sublight.
So, the last time I attempted this, I ended up being unable to actually deal any damage to them.
You're not going to be any trouble, are you?
Am I?
Hailing.
This is a Confederate militia vessel. I hope you're not calling to ask for directions. We don't have time for this. We have pressing matters to attend to. Keep your nose clean.
Do I have to, like...
Engaging.
Yep, okay.
Missiles inbound. Threat level orange. Starboard shields down. Starboard hull breach.
Engaging.
So it can be done. I just have to hit them with a lot of surprise.
At maximum.
What's up? Militia fighter. Oh, frigate. Three hot, as I was taught recently.
They will taste the black.
Or throw hot. More munitions, huh? Anything else out here? Robots.
Collision warning.
Tasty, tasty robots.
We will cut them down.
So my ship is officially stronger than a lot of large military vessels, which is kind of impressive.
Stellar map.
But we're not done yet.
Accelerating to sublight. Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight.
This one is mine. Target destroyed.
Collision warning. Mission complete.
Red Devil Cartel increased by 23. Never would have thought I'd see that. That's fun. Next up, Merchant Rescue. No, that can't be right.
Stellar map.
Blockade Run Munitions.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Whole set of Red Devil out here.
Time to find out how cold it is outside. You're tearing me apart. I won't forget this.
Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight. Missiles inbound.
This can't be happening!
Accelerating
You
to
look
sublight.
lost, mate.
Are they just sitting in a big ring around here? Do I just get to sit here and harvest enemies for a minute?
Engaging.
Missiles inbound.
Just the hammerheads and missile corvettes. Like, it's not even a big threat, it's just a bunch of smaller ships. And I know at one point this would have been a huge threat.
Collision warning.
But I'm... As long as they're letting me just keep taking capital ships one at a time like this isn't a threat. What we got over here?
Collision warning. Engines impaired.
Oh, those mines.
We will cut them down.
Alright. How about this? We'll just go back to the dock for now.
Mission complete.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Repairs complete.
Still haven't quite made it to the Vanguard, but I'm looking at my credits, and I'm thinking if we wanted to go to a heavy vehicle, I could. We're very close to being able to. In fact, actually, let's take a look at that ship. A little bit more closely, at least. 4 and 5. 7 and 6. So one more port. Or one more turret. One less component. Additional secondary port. Just because it would be a fun thing to do. We're going to try a different ship. We're going to sell some of this excess that we've got. These extra mining lasers. Oh, it's a lot. It's a Mark 1. Okay, well we're at 791,000 now, so... Move up to the Vanguard. The Outlaw Star. Because that's what this one reminds me of. Equipment bay. Refill all the ordnance. Let's swap out a weapon here. Shield buster, particle laser, mining laser. Install component. Wait, we have a... No, we don't. Okay. And those don't change value based on the size of the ship, which was something else that I was curious about. Visit the bar. Actually, no. Merchant's Guild versus the Red Devil Cartel. You got it. That's a beautiful ship. Oh, it's got a battle bridge.
Engines at maximum.
Okay.
Collision warning. Engines impaired.
Oh. I'm not even able to, like, get to these as... That's wild.
Engines impaired. Sublight boosters depleted. Engines are no longer impaired.
This thing is so slow. And I know that it's not. It's a medium speed vehicle. But it's so slow. I got used to the turbo tank. I have been wanting to try a larger class vehicle though in this. That's such a cool engine. It's a very Firefly build. I was expecting the side wings to actually be where a lot of the weapons are going to be.
I am detecting larger craft with heavy ballistic weaponry.
Oh, okay.
Missiles inbound.
They will taste the blood.
Deflectors depleted. Collision warning. Torch shields down.
Something just did some heavy damage.
Collision warning.
This can't be happening!
Yeah, you think? Oh, that's a lot of lasers at once. That's enough to ignore enemy shields.
Bound.
Good to know.
No luck. Here's another waypoint to try. You'll have to move fast.
I have to move fast in my giant tank of a vehicle. Spiced Lochnar orb. Devil comes, I'm gonna ride that train.
Accelerating sublight. Exiting sublight.
Okay. So where's the next route? Out that way.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
This thing turns like a boat because it is a boat.
Exiting sublight.
Very capital class, much wow. She wants me to fly all the way across the entire star system. 11,000. So if you had noticed, it's about 1 second per each click, so we got 2 minutes of flight.
Stellar map.
I mean, like, what if I didn't rush? What if I went and did a bunch of side missions? What would happen right now? Rawhide theme plays. Limp Bizkit lyrics. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Mercenary gunship. Rolling, 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 wow. I should do karaoke tonight. It's been a minute. Also, it's really funny to me that this decided to just go completely dead silent save for engine noise. Cosmeteer. That's still one that I'm going to have to do one of these nights as a dedicated long-form stream. What is that? Hello? Hello?
Stellar map.
3D vessel. Oh, I don't care. The turning radius on this thing is like half a planet. Which, when you think about it, like, that makes sense at hyperspeed, but... Yee!
Warp inhibited by hostile craft.
That is a lot of hostiles.
Sublight.
You're tearing me apart.
Engaging.
Thank you, Skiza. Keep up the good work, bud.
This is now.
I'm able to just make, like, targeted shots at distance, and this is going right through.
Inbound.
Pulse.
Deflectors depleted.
Another torpedo barge out here.
Collision warning. Deflectors depleted. Missiles inbound. Missiles inbound.
Confirmed kill.
The sheer damage output on this thing will make it so I actually can take on some of those larger vehicles.
Nothing yet? We've seen some action, but no big scores. Here's another set of coordinates.
Sublight boosters depleted. Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight.
Alright, let's go again.
Collision warning.
Oh. You can just warp right into somebody else's afterburner. Okay. What do we got here?
We are approaching a very large vessel. Perhaps this one will meet Senya's criteria. Incoming hail.
Well, look what we have here. Juicy pickings. Sure. There's no talking out of this one, mate.
Collision
Okay.
warning.
Damn!
Well, I can definitely say the damage output on this
Missiles
is
inbound.
scary good. I also didn't mean to completely vaporize their ship like that.
Target destroyed.
Accelerating to sublight. Exiting sublight. Collision warning. Scanner. Scanning. Target locked.
As you can see, I'm a bit of friend. You got.
Embrace the coldness.
Skiza, you're terrifying as usual.
We will cut them down.
Mission complete. Hailing.
What can I help you? Yeah, we can do business. Would you having pleasure? Yeah, here's what I. Yeah. we can
Metallic
do the
order.
same.
Alright, have a good one, bud. That Harrier just bounced right through my hole. Alright, we got more up there. What if I just keep destroying their flagships?
Causing so much trouble.
Maybe.
Incoming hail. Collision warning. Hailing.
What gives? You ain't militia, so why you gunning so hard for me and my mates? You want to spring, Juno? There's an easier way. Side up with us, help us give the militia a beating, and we'll let her go. We'll
You got
set
it.
up a meeting, plan it out. You can call me Juster. Meet me at these coordinates. You made the right choice.
Good, because you just about got vaporized.
Nothing at all. Damn. Don't give up hope just yet. I'll contact you when we have more intel to act on.
Stellar map.
Interesting.
Mission complete.
Very interesting. Double cross. Hell yes. This is what I wanted.
Accelerating.
Space pirates. Hey, how's it going, Busta? We got ourselves a big new battleship.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
I can take on the military cruisers now, and...
Accelerating to sublight.
Nah, no need to apologize, hun. You're having a good time. Say hi to the cuties. Custom waypoint. I don't remember setting that one. I truly don't think the game expected me to go out and try to get, like, the biggest vehicles it will let me purchase in the very first map, but I don't know how long this game is. I don't know if, like, all those other sectors are fluff, or if I'm actually going to be in story in each of those places.
Collision warning.
We're headed to Salsa Station. Interesting, the secret meetup is happening at the prison station. Refill ordnance, repair the ship.
Repairs complete.
Oh, actually, what else? A million credit back. Oh, on the Scarab. I'm like, I was thinking that was the Barracuda. I still hate that Manticore. Alright. Making money on that Griot whiskey. Also, let's go. Oh, hell yes. Okay. Let's visit the bar. Hey, Skeeza. Keep an eye out, bud.
Thought you might not show. Maybe you're smarter than I thought.
Smart enough.
Here's how this is gonna go. We make sure the militia finds us, you back us up. When the time comes, you side with us and put them down, like the dogs they are.
Bark, bark.
Then we let Juno free. No questions asked.
And the reason you were holding her?
With the militia licking their wounds, reason's a lot less important.
You're not telling me everything.
You don't. But what other option do you have? We know the militia's coming now. Side with us or take her back in pieces. Up to you. And maybe you'd have ended up dead. You know what they say. Wish in one hand, shit in the other. Yeah. Here's the coordinates for the meet. Don't be late.
This is the first person I've seen that's actually wearing, like, legitimate armor, too, outside their ship.
Take a seat, mate. Aye, all right. Good day, mate.
Battle at Westerport border. Okay. I wouldn't normally take on a militia job, but we're about to piss them off pretty bad, so I could probably use a mission that would make them happier with me.
Stellar map.
Red Devil Interloper. War Impoverished. Okay. Good to know. Take a look here. Merchant Rescue down this way. And completely the opposite direction. The battle at Westerbork. And the nasty surprise. Interesting. We got a whole set of things going on over there.
Engines at maximum. Accelerating to sublight.
Got that cozy Cozy vibe. If I were better at freestyling, I'd try and come up with blues lyrics to go with this, because good old blues riffs. Oh. Got people heading their way out there, too. This will be a big fight. Warp drive's definitely slower on this ship. I may well end up going back to the Barracuda after this. This thing is just so slow. And I can only imagine that with the bigger ships, it's going to get worse. I just drove through a minefield?
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Accelerating to sublight. Sublight boosters depleted.
Distress beacon. I can't help you folks. I got a much bigger problem to deal with over here. Another belt. A lot of stuff I discovered on the way through here. I did just kind of cut across the entire system though too. Okay. Here we go. That is a lot of info out there. Holy cow.
There you are.
Hey, Jester.
You ready for this? Here they come. Let's burn them down.
You got it, Jester.
Inbound.
You sided with them? Then death's too good for you.
Uh-huh. I'm certain.
Collision warning.
Double Jacks versus the Red Devils
Tear me apart.
versus the military.
Mission
Did that...
failed.
That entire station was just destroyed?
Stellar map. Collision
Hold
warning.
up. Did Jester die? What just happened?
Them down.
I'm not entirely sure what mission was failed, per se.
Collision warning. Mission complete.
Shock deflectors.
Collision warning.
No, no, no!
I just beached my ship.
Collision warning.
Target destroyed.
Okay. Meteoric
Collision
diamonds. Very interesting. So, I'm not going to land just yet, because when I do, that saves things. But I also don't know what I'm
Accelerating to sublight.
supposed to do now. Got Grill whiskey out here.
Sublight boosters depleted. Collision warning.
Ow.
Engaging.
Hailing.
Well, yes. You ain't militia, so why you gunning so hard for me and my mates? You on a spring, Juno? We'll set up a meet.
So,
Collision
hold.
warning.
Wait a sec. What just happened? Did I fail the Battle of Whatever's thing that was on top of all this? I've never seen a station go down.
Stellar map.
He wants me to go back out there.
Accelerating to subline.
Is it just gonna respawn the space station? Like,
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
I don't understand.
Exiting sublight.
I guess this will be the thing that tests that. Like, did I glitch out the game? Was there any other way that could have gone? Why is it letting me start the interaction again as though I never did it in the first place, even though I just beat her in combat? What happened? We get signal. Main screen turn on. Somebody set up us the bomb. How are you, gentlemen? All your base to belong to us. You have no chance to survive. Make your time. Ha ha ha. Parenthesis ha. Also, it's interesting to note that, like, I'm still discovering things between these stations that I've already been to. So are we back at Salsa Station?
Warp inhibited by
We
stellar
are.
mass. Accelerating.
What is
to
happening
sublight.
here?
Docking.
Thought you might not show. Here's them with you and yeah.
Okay. Hmm. So what if I go back here again? Okay.
Engines at maximum.
Got a merchant rescue. And then it wants us to go back out there for nasty surprise.
Accelerating to sublight.
So we'll give this one more try. Not sure how this is gonna go. But we'll try this fight and then probably find a place to park our ship for the night and call it good. This has been an eventful and very strange evening.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass.
Kind of want to add the FTL music, but I have enough other games that I've added the music from FTL to
that probably shouldn't do that. I suppose while I've got a second here, I can take a look at this side. Okay. Is there anything left? Is the station here? The station's back. The station's back. Double Jack Station.
You ready for this? Here they come. Let's burn them down.
Enemy craft.
That's a cool station.
You sided with them? Then death's too good for you.
Okay, protect the station. Don't crash into it.
Collision warning.
Yeah. Xenia.
Collision warning.
Son of a...
Alright.
Scanner. Scanning.
Bunch of pulse platforms, some cargo, military. Okay, well. There it is. That's
We will cut them down.
the end of that.
More coming. Don't leave any alive.
That's fine, bud.
Enemy craft inbound. Missiles inbound. Threat level orange.
More coming, huh? From where? Just those ones? Oh, over
Accelerating
here.
Sublight. Threat level yellow. Collision warning. Sublight boosters depleted.
Troop transport.
This one is mine.
Ordnance low. Starboard shields down. Collision warning.
Engaging.
Missiles inbound. Ordnance depleted.
Yeah, you won't be landing here.
Missiles inbound.
Oh, hello. Glad I grabbed a destroyer class vehicle. Not so glad that I forgot to actually load up with additional missiles. But hey, it seems like we got this.
We will cut them down.
Like, it legitimately seems like we've really got this. Another troop transport. Alright. We're going after the station.
Hull breaches on all decks.
Yeah. One would expect that when you're being assaulted by a giant pirate ship. Gold ingots out there.
That's done it. Those militia dogs will think twice before tangling with us again. And I'm as good as my word.
I have detected a small craft exiting the facility. Exiting sublight. Craft
Nice.
inbound.
I'm gonna get out here and try to grab these
Hey,
cargoes.
kiddo. Great to see you. It's good to be out of that raffle. I know a quiet place where we can talk. Meet me there.
No way. Juno's still alive. I didn't actually expect that she would be. You got nuts and bolts.
Exiting sublight.
What's over here? Nuts and bolts. What's over here?
Accelerating to sublight.
Munitions. Nuts and bolts.
Collision warning.
Nanofibers. Bunch of stuff over that way. Nothing much over there.
Sublight boosters depleted.
Nuts and bolts. Alien artifacts. Hello. Head back over this way. It's metallic ore. Don't really want. But the gold. Pure
Accelerating to
ingots.
sublight.
Oh. Warp drive. Don't. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Stellar mass.
Nuts and bolts. And that's all a bunch of nuts and bolts out there. What's there? Metallic ore. Okay. Well, let's see where Juno told us to go and find out the next part of the story. It's nice having Trell on board, being able to tell us who's got what weapons, because that has actually kept me alive, knowing there's torpedo boats at distance. She's reading that stuff faster than I can scan it in combat. What do you know? An actual AI that functions as an AI. Reunion. After all this time, we're what 12 hours into the game now? 4 sessions? And we're only just now able to meet Juno. Is she taking us to Salsa as well? No, Artemis too. Okay.
Stalking.
Alright. Refill ordnance. Repair the ship.
Repairs complete.
Check. Commodities. Ugh. Okay. Alright. Visit the bar. Let's talk to Juno.
There you are. It's been too long, kiddo. Glad you got my message, and I sure appreciate you flying out here to the ass end to see me.
It's been a little more interesting than I bargained for.
Isn't it always? Thanks for your part in getting me out. The last week was unpleasant, but I've still got all my bits and pieces, so I count myself lucky.
But isn't that why you sent for me? What's this all about?
Haven't you guessed yet? Orzu gave you the Spectre, didn't he? If he didn't, he and I are gonna have words.
The reliquary.
Are you telling me it's active? And you've still got it?
Its name is Trell, and it's aboard my ship right now.
Holy shit. Sounds like I sent for the right person, all right. Who knows you have it?
Orzu, Sandar, the mechanical named Zell, God knows who else. Pirate named Blackhand Sims came hunting for it?
But they don't know it's active yet?
I don't think so.
Well, thank God for that anyway.
So, what is it? It's some kind of AI, or entity. I've already helped it assemble some of its memory.
Well, there's legends about these specters and what they can do. Some people say they're the ghosts of a long-dead race, tucked away to keep their knowledge alive.
Okay, so we're gonna have a talk after the end of this play session here regarding the Kardashev scale, because I was rambling about it last time and then I forgot because I got into a giant space war. Go on, Juno.
Some say they were weapons or libraries or messengers, but whatever they are, they're valuable enough to kill for.
So, why do you have it, and what do we do with it?
I found it on a derelict way out past the edge of the system, doing some scrapping. Knew right away what it was, but damned if my crew didn't too. They say there's honor among thieves, but that ain't been my experience. So I tucked it away and sent for someone I could trust. You.
What do we do now?
Honestly, we get the hell out of this system. I can't stick my head up for long anywhere, and neither can you. You need to get a jump drive in that ship of yours if you don't already have one, and we need to make an exit.
I just found you, though.
Yeah, and I'm mighty proud and mighty thankful, but I'd like us both to keep our skins. I have to go. Won't be long before the militia smells me out. When you hit the next system, I'll get in contact with you. See you soon, kiddo.
Alright. Cool. Let's go to the equipment bay and install that. Normally you would have to do a bunch of, like, grinding and fight a bunch of enemies, then about 3 or 4 missions minimum, upwards of 10, to be able to get the money necessary to get that jump drive. I've been doing so much intergalactic trade, though, that my ship is very loaded out. That heat management does sound pretty nice. But we haven't been having issues with heat so far, so we'll hold off. Okay. That was cool. I didn't expect to hit the end of this first zone. So one of the things that I've been accidentally pinging repeatedly...
Perhaps I will detect another fragment of my reliquary in the next system. I may have devised a way to increase my scanning range. Hailing.
What can I help you with? Yeah, we can do business. Yeah, we can do business. Safe travel.
Yeah. I'm trying to... Whoa. Okay, so yeah, I keep accidentally hitting this one here, the sector map. And, it has been pulling up all these other places. And some of these locations have a lot more systems. Interesting. Huh. Okay. We'll have to mess with that. What was I about to do? There's a way to talk to... What? Information log.
Engines at maximum.
Let me see, because she said at one point there's a way that I can try and get in touch with them.
Accelerating to subject.
Sorry. With Trell. Via the command system inside the ship. So I want to get away from sector here real quick.
The individual known as Sandar is approaching us with great speed.
Apparently there's more story to go here.
Inbound.
Alright, Sandar.
Hailing.
To translate, I'll be frank. My patience is worn thin. I want the Spectre, and you're going to give it to me. Response. You sent Blackhand Sins after me, huh? Yes, of course. Don't be dense. He wasn't the only one, just the most unlucky so far. But I can't let you leave the system, and with Juno free again, I imagine that's just what you're angling to do. True. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to take it, of course. Or you can give it to me. It's your choice, I suppose. Over my dead body. Or, how about some cash instead? Nobody has to die. I mean, I've got the money. It really doesn't mean anything to me. A pragmatist after all. I like that. You have a deal. No way.
Incoming hail.
Interesting. Also, that is a really cool looking little ship. Okay. Well, good to know. I'm still trying to get out of here so I can
Accelerating
actually, like,
sublight.
try and talk to my AI here. Also, hey there, Ryan Gosling. Good to see you, huh? There's gotta be something missing.
Scanning. Scanning.
I wonder if the option to talk to her has been taken away, because I'm not seeing those right now. Huh. Alright. Well, I guess I gotta go land back at the station here. Oof. Ribs just went crunch.
Warp inhibited by stellar mass. Stalking.
Okay. Well. Depart so it saves once. Certain it saves. Game saving. Let's see it in the corner. Okay, cool. System. Exit. Flak type secondary component weapons against effective and held down continuously while appropriate in battle. I'm learning that, but it's not really worth it to have to manually do so. Interesting. Switch this back on here. So yeah, I want to talk for just a second here about the Kardashev scale, because it's something interesting to me, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull up article from Wikipedia about it, because I'm that kind of crazy. And we're gonna whoop. Oh. Wait a second. There it is. Okay. Switch this over. So yeah, we're gonna talk for a sec. The Kardashev scale is a way to measure how well a civilization has taken control and command of the resources available around them. And so the three types of the basic Kardashev scale that we normally see in sci-fi references are type 1, 2, and 3. Type 1 being a civilization that has figured out how to make full use of everything available on their planet. And at type 2, a civilization that's figured out how to use every bit of resources and every bit of energy available inside their entire solar system. So at that point, you start to see things like Dyson spheres and Dyson swarms as they are pulling in the energy of their own star. And a theoretical Type 3 Kardashev civilization being one that has surpassed limitations of the galactic space and has full access and use of the energy and materials thereof. But an alternative to the same scale, instead of expanding outward the way that we look at it, this is a little loud, is to look inward instead. A theoretical civilization or future universe where instead of trying to reach the furthest point of the stars, we look down and inward into the micro or into the virtual. And an idea of taking all of the knowledge, all of the information that a civilization has accrued, and locking it away into a digital consciousness to be either brought back later or referred to later to help others, is such an interesting idea on that. And I don't know if there was... Let's see if this article actually has specifics on the inverse of it. Status. Yeah, it's interesting to me, like, at the current status of civilization on Earth with humans as it is right now in the year 2023, we would be considered not quite 0.7 on that scale because we don't yet know how to actually use everything that we have available to us. Let's see. Extensions to this type 0. Type 0 civilizations who do not rank on the Kardashev scale are to even more hypothetical Type 4 beings who can control or use the entire universe, or Type 5 who control collections of universes and or multiverses. Not quite where I was trying to go with that. Microdimensional mastery. Microdimensional. Type 1 minus to Type Omega minus. Oh. I apparently have some more reading to do on my own about the ways that has changed over the years. Interesting. Oh, hey. How's it going? Okay. Well, I think that's enough of my incoherent rambling for the evening. I'm starting to get a little loopy, and I could definitely use a chance to medicate myself. So, let's see who else is currently out and about doing something interesting on Twitch. Who do we want to name? Let's raid one of the folks that I used to watch early on in my little journey here. He's given me so much support. Maybe not. I just took a look at what they're watching, and we'll skip that. We'll do somebody else. I don't really want to throw you folks into watching trash TV. So we'll do the usual thing with the live DJs. Say hello to Amelia Music, somebody who's actually got a really fun breakbeat and explanation of how she constructs her audio. I've actually learned a lot about digital DJ work and virtual DJ work just by watching her stuff. So yeah, give it a try. Everybody, I do appreciate your support. Thank you so much for dropping in and being a part of the show here. Can't wait till the next chance that we get to go ahead and explore the universe together. Maybe we'll do a little bit of the Sunless Seas. Appreciate you all. Hope you have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.